At an EU summit in Brussels, leaders vowed to step up military aid for Ukraine despite Russia's demands for foreign support to stop. However, the EU leaders came short of endorsing a request from Kyiv to give Ukraine 5 billion euros for artillery shells. While most of the 27 member states rallied around earmarking crucial financial assistance for military support, Italy and France were reportedly hesitant at committing specific financial volumes. And after London earlier hosted 2 meetings to boost support for Ukraine, the third event will be taking place in Paris. Here is the French president.
I was able to report on the various discussions I have had in recent days with President Zelensky and President Trump. Following last week's meeting in Paris of the chiefs of the defense staff and the meeting of deputy operational chiefs held yesterday and today in London, we will hold a Coalition of the Willing summit next Thursday in Paris in the presence of President Zelensky.
Well, for more on France's role in all of this, earlier we spoke to our Brussels correspondent, Dave Keating. Here's what he had to say.
Well, we have these ad hoc summits happening in Paris and London. There will be a briefing call later today, this afternoon, where the chair of the European Council, Antonio Costa, will call the leaders of the UK, Norway, and Turkey to brief them on the outcome of yesterday's summit. Then President Macron announced at his press conference last night here in Brussels that he will be holding a summit in Paris, a follow-up for this coalition of the willing, where they will really nail down who would be doing what in this peacekeeping mission for Ukraine if a peace deal is reached. Separately, yesterday we had Keir Starmer convene a meeting of Europe's military chiefs in London. He's saying that there will be a follow-up meeting also in London with the leaders. So again, we really have France and the UK taking the reins here on this coalition of the willing. This is all happening, of course, outside of the EU structures, chiefly because the UK is no longer in the EU. There's huge questions hanging over how these ad hoc meetings of the so-called coalition of the meeting are going to intersect with the EU, with its democratic structures, with its accountability. No one really knows what to call this extra group that's involving some EU countries, some not, and that some EU countries oppose. So a lot of questions over these ad hoc meetings.